The Welwood Murray Memorial Cemetery has been serving the Palm Springs community for well over a century. NBC Palm Springs' Steve Sumrall presents the origins of the city's first eternal resting place in this edition of Our Desert Past.
Many people drive by this rock wall which runs the length of Vine Avenue on a daily basis without realizing what lies beyond. It is sacred ground, often visited by the loved ones of the dearly departed. This is the Welwood Murray Memorial Cemetery, and it has, for more than a century, been a source of comfort for the families and friends of Palm Springs' most beloved citizens. It is a triangular parcel of land which rests in the shadow of Mount San Jacinto. It was purchased by Dr. Welwood Murray and his wife Elizabeth. Welwood Murray came to Palm Springs in 1886 at the request of his good friend John McCallum, who was the first settler in Palm Springs that was not of Native American descent. Murray purchased a piece of land from McCallum and opened a hotel and sanatorium. Welwood Erskine Murray, son of Welwood Murray, was the first body to be buried here in 1864. At that time, the closest cemetery was in Banning, so when a person died, the body would usually be wrapped in a blanket and taken by wagon to a train station. This would happen at night due to a lack of refrigeration. This family tragedy would inspire the Murrays to open up their hearts as well as their land to grieving families in need. As deaths in the community would occur, the family members of the departed would ask the Murrays if they could also bury their loved ones on their property to avoid transporting them out of town. It was a request that the Murrays would happily oblige. Elizabeth Murray was buried next to her son following her death in 1911. Before his death in 1914, Welwood Murray would donate this property to Palm Springs to serve as the city's cemetery. While walking through this cemetery, one can read the names on the grave markers and be reminded of the links to our desert past. Many prominent historical figures can be found here. This large gravestone for Nellie Kaufman is appropriately inscribed with the word Mother. Mrs. Kaufman, owner of the Desert Inn, has been credited with making Palm Springs a world-famous winter vacation destination. Carl Licken, owner of Palm Springs' first general store and telegraph office, was laid to rest here in 1972. John McCallum's daughter, desert philanthropist Pearl McCallum McManus, was buried here in 1966. Palm Springs' first auto mechanic, Zadie Bunker, was buried here in 1972. Mrs. Bunker was a prominent landowner and famously learned to fly a plane at the age of 60. Not too far away from Zadie is her daughter Frances, who shares a grave marker with her husband, Plaza Theater owner Earl Strebe. Architect Albert Frey was laid to rest here in 1998. His innovative postmodern designs are on full display throughout the city, some examples being Palm Springs City Hall and the aerial tramway station. Many armed services veterans have been laid to rest here as well. They are recognized every Veterans Day, their grave sites being adorned with American flags. May they all rest in peace in this sacred ground which honors our desert past. Steve Sumrall, NBC Palm Springs, News First.